last time. I'm not stupid.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the I Tap That Cigar Show, presented by Corona Cigar. I am your host, Kevin from Cigar Prop, and we are coming to you live from the Drew Estate Experience Asset Studios here on the sunny Gulf Coast of Florida. Joining me for the last show of the season before we go on winter break is my co-host. I'm about to say producer Kerr, but it's not. Producer Jessica's in the back room. Kerr.
Hey,
Stogie Road Cigars.
I thought you were going to say joining you for the last time. I thought I was getting fired. I thought I was getting fired on air.
Yeah, fired Elon Musk style. Just yeah.
Yes, what's going on?
So you changed your hat. You were wearing a beanie before the show.
Well, it's a little bit chillier.
Yeah,
I'm warming up.
What about your vest? I mean, so you've just got this chilled in your pectoral region. Your arms aren't. You don't need sleeves.
No, not when you got hair like this. Like I got monkey arms, so they don't get cold.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. I don't wear gloves. If I do, I wear fingerless gloves because I don't like gloves.
Yeah, I don't like the way fingerless gloves look. It's creepy. Reminds me of the kid from that made the other kid stick his tongue on the flagpole in the Christmas Story. He had fingerless gloves. He had beady eyes. I swear to you, he had beady eyes.
Weird thing to remember about that moment. I didn't like.
Yeah, I think that's why I don't like fingerless gloves. That kid. But that's it.
Great.
Or from Ace or Dumb and Dumber. Here, take my hands are hot. Take my extra set.
I don't know. I like when he's choking him. He goes, Harry, your hands are cold.
Oh my God, that was a great scene. And joining us as well is producer Jessica. Say hello, Jessica.
Hello.
All right. This is a great episode. We got Rick Rodriguez. There are two. Now, I haven't met like a couple of guys, so I'm not sure. Like Ernesto Perez Carrillo, we'll talk about him later. I don't know like if he's funny or not. Like, so there are some people in the industry like Michael Herklotz. I never knew Michael Herklotz was funny. Like that dude is hilarious. Same with Rick. Like when you see him, like stoic, good-looking dude, and then when you talk to him, like that guy is hilarious. So there, people that are in the industry that you don't think would be like really funny, and they're like over the top hilarious. So
yes,
that's who we got on tonight. And then Fred Rui, you know how crazy and funny Fred is. He's even funnier in person.
He is.
So,
he is funny.
He is. Yeah, he is.
I can't imagine. Yeah, they had some folks on that. Definitely the have a good and twisted sense of humor.
That we have. So all right. Let's see. I don't have any. Yeah, because it's our last show, so I'm flipping through my notes. I don't have anything coming up. No festivals. No events. So I'm going to get right into it with the CigarMedics Humidimeter Cut and Light. And I have got the new Humidimeter Pro. Remember with the CigarMedics Humidimeter, you always know when to hold them, know when to smoke them. Yeah, the new Pro has retractable prongs.
Oh,
so you can actually put it in, and it's rechargeable, all metal body construction. And yeah, and I am smoking the West Tampa Black tonight.
Oh, nice.
So let's see what we got. And it's so I'm at 63%. And with the new Pro, the response time is almost instant. There's no just holding it, waiting for like 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, it does look like
it is an
drive.
instant read. So
what's
that?
65%.
It looks like a USB drive, is what Just Manny said.
Oh, it does. I'm sorry, Kara. What'd you say?
I said I'm at 65%.
Oh, right
I
on.
like it.
And what are you smoking tonight?
Well, I'm doing a nice pairing this evening, Kevin. I have 2 glasses of sangria.
Yeah.
I'm
Hey,
I'm
don't
smoking.
judge me.
I'm not judging you. I'm smoking the blackened, the
All right.
M81,
Nice.
and I'll be pairing it with the blackened.
Oh, right on. So I need a lighter. Here is my lighter.
And
and-
I
And it is
encountered the
Howard.
dreaded footband.
Oh, for the yeah.
Yeah, Howard says the West Tampa
Black is
phenomenal.
it is absolutely phenomenal. And as a backup, I do have the West Tampa White, and that is what Jessica is smoking tonight. Is the
You
West
guys
Tampa
are
White?
fancy and matching.
We are.
Yeah,
We were at a
we're twinning.
we were at an event where I met Rick and his daughter Sarah for the first time, and it was a West Tampa event. So we grabbed handfuls of the cigars. So we've got a few left that we saved because I knew I was going to get Rick on the show.
I got a gringo as a backup. I was just got done smoking a deconstructed gringo, so now I got to smoke the gringo.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
So-
and honestly, when we were up at the Ybor City Cigar Festival, we were at the JC Newman factory, and we got to see Rick's cigars in there.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
It was so awesome to see the West
Yeah.
Tampa cigars
Oh,
in the front lobby of JC Newman. So it was so cool. And who is it? Two Guy Smoke Shop. If you go, which I sorry Jeff for promoting another, but this has to do with our guest tonight. You get a West Tampa cigar. It's their 2022 end of the year pack. You get a vote on the cigar of the year. West Tampa has a cigar in that pack. So and not blowing any smoke, but no pun intended. But if I was to turn my camera right over there, I never announced because we did our cigar of the year video the other night. And it was the Army of Angels from Angel Benitez at Corona Cigar.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say all the cigars in my top 10, but in the top 5 of this year was a West Tampa Black.
Someone's asking where you can purchase the blackened cigar.
You just have to hit all the online retailers.
Yeah.
Corona Cigar, they come and go. Some shops are only getting 1 or 2 boxes. Other shops are getting 10. So Corona Cigar, use the code PROP10, save 10% off. That's our new permanent discount code with Corona Cigar now. So
I got mine at my local cigar shop at Boda's. They had them in. They had all the Vitols, and I picked the Churchill tonight to smoke.
Oh, right on. So let's get into it. Where's our time? Oh, we're right at the the 8-minute mark.
Right,
so
let's do this.
all right. So let's see. As
Well, you didn't ask Jessica what she's smoking, did you?
I told you it was a West Tampa White.
But you didn't ask her.
I
It's
didn't
okay.
ask her
It's
because
okay.
I forgot to ask her. And then when I said my second cigar is a white, I remembered that
Jess, I got your back. See, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Je-
I appreciate
Jessica was smoking.
I appreciate you.
smoking a white.
I
So
appreciate you.
all right. As a reminder, this will be our last show of the season. We're going to take a month off to relax and recharge. We'll be back the 3rd week of January, and for an exciting new season. So before we bring on our guest tonight, we want to take a moment to thank all of our show partners for just supporting us all year round. This show costs a lot of money to make, produce, podcast, all of that. So they're the ones that make this happen if you're watching tonight or listening to the podcast in the future. So thank you to JC Newman Cigars, CigarMedics, Amendola Cigars. Let me change cameras. We are the muscle. Excelsior Tobaccos, makers of the Doña Lydia. If you've been listening to our show for all year and you haven't tried a Doña Lydia yet, get off your ass and go ask your local tobacconist for the Doña Lydia. GTO Cigars, those who know, smoke GTO. Corona Cigar, and of course, Drew Estate and Experience Acid. Look at that. We got Howard Gross watching Tanu. Now it's like, God, Howard Gross, it's just Manny. Now I'm freaking out. All right. So waiting patiently in the Experience Asset Green Room is Rick Rodriguez of West Tampa Tobacco. Rick, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, guys. And it's going to be a great show to end your season or your year with. So hopefully.
Yes. You know, we're going to do something I don't ever do, and Kerr knows I don't like this. We're going to deviate from my notes for a second because I want to talk to you about a cigar before we back all the way up and start the show completely over again. Because you've been in the cigar industry a long time, 27-ish years. You've seen everything from gitchy to not gitchy. And Kerr has a cigar. He owns Stogie Road Cigars. We're not here to promote that tonight, but I want to talk about something that he's working on, because every time something is supposedly done in this industry, someone comes out of the woodwork and says, "Oh, I did that 15 years ago. I did that and it didn't work." Kerr, I want you to break down the deconstructed barber pole for Rick, and then I want Rick's opinion or knowledge. Has this ever been done before? I don't think it has.
Thank you for putting me on a spot.
Yes.
I am not. I do not have any sangria handy, but I've always been a fan of barber pole cigars. I love the concept of having the two wrappers. And I had a conversation a while back with someone, and they had commented that they thought barber poles were gitchy, and I said, "Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion. You know, that's fine." But I wanted to do something to prove them wrong, or at least have other people weigh in on their opinion. So what I did was, you have, like, and again, we're not promoting this, but the one cigar I have is the Gringo, Sweetgrass Gringo. It's a Candela Connecticut barber pole. So we made two Coronas. Both of them had the same filler and binder as the Gringo. One is made with using the Candela wrapper. The other one is the Connecticut wrapper. So you can smoke each cigar and taste that blend of what's in the filler and binder, and taste it with just a Connecticut, with just a Candela, and then you can smoke the cigar itself and smoke and see the difference and taste the difference and the similarities and savor the flavor, if you will, of the barber pole itself, and pick up the notes from what you smoked prior. And we did that.
I love that.
We did that with all four of our core lines.
I love that because it does show you where your flavor is coming from. Because a lot of times the manufacturer wants to concentrate on one or two things: the filler or the wrapper. And what you're trying to do is highlight your wrappers. So using the same fillers, you're going to discover the differences, and you can kind of vote for yourself which one you prefer. And so the only thing I did different was I took a barber pole, and I understand the concept, but I've always said to myself, it's hard to pick up the two flavors from those wrappers separate, because you haven't to smoke it.
Right.
So what I did was take an old, and I was working with, I think that time was with, with CEO, and they had a barber pole, and what I did was divide them. So half your wrapper was the Maduro, and half your wrapper was of natural. Instead of wrapping together, I want you to experience the flavor, and all of a sudden, you don't look at it, because all of a sudden, when you get to the Maduro, it changed that flavor.
Yeah.
So I did the barber pole, but separated. Half of your cigar was the natural, and the foot to the halfway, and from the halfway to the head was the Maduro, and everybody got now experienced together, and that was kind of lights on. Okay, I now taste these separate, because you demonstrated what the flavor is separate. And then I can pull out the flavor of the natural. I'm tasting it, but in an exhale, I'm tasting the black or the Maduro.
So Kerr did it smarter because you got to buy 3 of his cigars to test his. You only got to buy. You only got to buy the one CAO. So yeah. So I do not remember that. What cigar was that from CAO?
It was a small project, and then we called it. I think it was the Blue Thin Line. It was a project that we wanted to raise money for the police, the fire department, and the M&S. And so what we did was collect this money, and $1 of that purchase went to this, and we presented this cigar, the check, to a group that was working with CI, and we presented that check, and it was a huge fan favorite. And so it kind of just went away one time, and we always been asked, when are you going to reintroduce that series? Because we love that series, and General Cigar we have other things to do. So we're just going to leave that.
Literally thousands of other things to concentrate on. So right on. So now we're going to back all the way up. Where you appear to be in your garage. Where are you coming from tonight for all of our listeners?
Tampa. Born and raised in Tampa. So I live in Odessa, but it's right outside of Tampa. But matter of fact, I can throw a baseball. Young Ricky could throw it once and hit Bruce's house. Ricky, Ricky twice. Maybe twice in a rolling the baseball down the street, but in Tampa, so we're neighbors and all that. But Tampa is where I'm born and raised.
Old Ricky tees up a golf ball and fires it at Bruce's house. So I got to hang out with Bruce and Karen the other night, at an event. Drove up a couple hours to see them, and always fantastic people. Loving hanging out with Bruce and Karen. So how did your family settle in? Because you're 3rd generation, Sarah's 4th generation Tampa now.
So my family, my history on my father's side is the cigar side. Of my mother's side is just crackers from Georgia. So we're already talked about my grandfather's side. My father's side of the family, they came to Tampa in 1953. My grandfather and grandmother were rollers in Cuba. And so my grandfather was laid off of his factory after about 20 years of working in that factory. Why? Because in 1952 was the first year that Tampa outproduced Cuba making Cuban cigars. It affected them so much that they were laid off workers in Cuba because Tampa was making more Cuban cigars than Cuba was. And so my grandfather and grandmother said, we can't raise a family on one income, so let's go to Tampa. And at that time, there was 2 locations in making cigars in Tampa. One was Ybor City. Ybor City was established. It was, ground zero for making cigars. And so my grandfather and grandmother naturally just went to a factory in Ybor City. And the minute they walked in, they heard somebody talking Italian. And he talked to the general manager. Excuse me, I'm hearing people talking Italian in your factory. Oh, yes, we have Italians and we have Germans, because after the World War I, everybody moved to, the U.S. and they started to find jobs, and they ended up in Tampa. What is Tampa known for as far as industry was cigars. So they started to work, and my grandfather said, sorry, I will never work in a fucking factory that has any Italians in it. And he walked out. And so where do I go? And he was walking out, and the guy says, if you want to just work with Cubans, go to West Tampa. They're just starting rolling cigars in West Tampa, but they only hire Cuban workers. So that is why we named this company West Tampa, because I was born and raised in West Tampa. My grandfather started their kind of history in the U.S. in West Tampa. So it was so natural for us to call this company what? I didn't want to call it the original name. My corporate name is Plan B, and everybody like the date break pill that you.
I was going to say Amendola's advertisements up too.
We can't do that. So we'll just call it the history of myself and my family. West Tampa. And we knew that was kind of scary to us because to name a cigar after a city is kind of scary, because if I was born and raised in Philadelphia and say I'm going to launch the Philadelphia Tobacco Company, everybody in Boston and New York, I am never going to buy anything from Philly. But Tampa, I had been traveling the world for the last 15 years with General Cigar and CAO, and I was amazed in every country I went to. Where are you from? I'm from Florida. Where in Florida? Tampa. They had no clue where Tampa was, but they answered right there. Oh, cigar capital of the world. And so it is still resonated with people out there, as Tampa is making cigars, and we all smoke cigars. We're all greeting everybody with a cigar on their head. So that's a reason it was easy for us to say Tampa. And you mentioned earlier about JC Newman, about seeing our product in the shelf.
Yeah.
When Bobby and Eric called me and say, Ricky, we not only want you in our kind of, they have a catalog program, and they're going to get on the internet. That's a reason we went to JC Newman to get in the catalog. And he says, bro, we're going to do one better. The only product that we're going to showcase other than Fuente and JC Newman is West Tampa. And it dropped me to my knees, bro. It just, wow. I have seen my cigar in shops all over the world. But when I saw the first time West Tampa in that factory, I looked at Bobby and Eric and I said, what do I say to you? I know how valuable this area is to your family, your company. For you to offer me a little area, he says, Ricky, just do me one favor. Just continue to do your job and continue to give us good cigars, and you'll have a home here for the rest of your life in this company. It was overwhelming. Overwhelming.
When Jessica and I saw those in there, I mean, we felt, I mean, it like it overtook us. Like we felt so proud. Like, and we don't, I mean, we just know you. I mean, we're not affiliated with the company, but we were so proud, for you. And it was just such an amazing feeling. Just to see those behind the glass case. And it's like, yeah, that's Ricky right on, West Tampa. So what was life like in Tampa growing up, 60 years ago, so
bro,
I mean, compared to today, did you ever go over to the factory, ride your bike or something?
No, because when my grandfather and grandmother had a factory, and where their factory is a small factory in West Tampa. The factory I knew growing up was the Villazon factory. Today it's called the Oliva factory, and so that's the factory I knew of. It was large factory. So that's the factory that I was riding my bike to go to my little league baseball field. That was a factory I passed all the time. And so for me to be a part of that factory today, be able to go in the factory, Frank and Nessa trained me about growing tobacco. So we'll talk about my training and how many people touch me with their knowledge. And if you look at, I think Cigar Aficionado has, they have now, I think, 14 Hall of Famers. At one time, they had 12 or 11. And I would been trained by 4 of the 11 people in the Hall of Fame. That was unbelievable. And Frank and Nessa was in charge of training me about growing tobacco. And if you don't know about Frank Nessa's history and what he did for this business that we love today, he was the first guy that went to Central America to grow tobacco with Plasencia. And that started because everybody was saying, where are you going? You should go to the DR or to Europe or to South America, Brazil, to make cigars. Nobody goes to Central America to grow tobacco, and Frank and Plasencia says, we're going to do that. And so the rich history of this kind of industry that we know today it's been taught to me by these legendary guys from Franconessa, Mr. Coleman that owned General Cigar, Hall of Famer. Benji Menendez, we can talk to about that, is my master that taught me everything. And Ernie, Perez Carrillo.
Oh, we'll definitely get into that here in a little bit. So when you were growing up, cigar rolling factories are definitely a lot more than it is today. Was that looked upon on a like good, like like the factory cigar rollers, or were they looked? How were they treated as a class in society when you were growing up?
They're the middle class. So
Okay.
if you had a job at a roller, you're making today would be like a salary of $50,000 to $80,000. You're not buying a new car, a new Cadillac every year, but you can definitely raise your family, provide for your family. So it was a great living for my grandfather and grandmother, and it raised their kids, and it raised me going to see them, and every Sunday I had lunch with my grandfather and grandmother, and my grandfather smoked one cigar a day after work, and my grandmother smoked one cigar a week. On Sunday after dinner, after lunch, she took us, the kids, out to the backyard to watch us play, and she smoked a cigar. So when I see a lady smoking a cigar, it's not sexy to me; it's power to me, because my grandmother was a powerful present in my family. She ruled that nest. So when I see a woman smoking a cigar, I automatically think of power. You're a powerful lady because you're in a man's world doing what we think is a man's thing. And it's amazing to me the growth of young ladies and older ladies into getting into this thing called cigar smoker, because it is unbelievable. The growth right now of women is outpacing any other segment of this cigar smoking industry.
Oh, for sure. And I imagine you only got one cigar a week. Don't screw up that time. Don't screw up grandma's cigar smoking time. Now back then, were they still getting? I know they did in Cuba. Did they get cigars every day they could take home? And then, because I know that's how a lot of cigar rollers supplemented their income, is by selling them on the side. So they were getting cigars as well.
About 5 cigars a day that you have access. My grandfather just took one a day that his last cigar he rolled that day, he smoked that day. And now I would love to ask them, Poppy, you knew that is not the time to smoke that cigar. You need to let it rest. He loved it. He loved that fresh rolled cigar straight off the table. It was a last cigar he smoked. He went home after dinner and smoked that cigar.
Yeah, I'm not. Kerr, we've been down in Ybor. I'm sure you've smoked many cigars, freshly rolled, not the greatest cigars at all.
No. Why? Because you have to understand why it's not good. One reason, if you have to take away one reason, we could get really deep. Why not to smoke that fresh rolled cigar? But for the fans of the cigar world, there's one reason. They have to wet the tobacco to roll it, to stretch it out. And so it's like if you have a neat shot of bourbon and you take the sip, you're only enjoying that full flavor of the bourbon. And if I go back to you, say the next sip, hold on, and I fill it with water. What do I do? Dilute your flavor. And so if you're just smoking a cigar off the table, that wrapper is wet. Your binder or your founder and filler are dry. So you're not going to accept that full flavor of the cigar. But over time, you know how to divide that flavor. You know what you're going to get from that cigar. But marrying that cigar, when we roll that cigar and put it in that bundle of 50 and we put it away, what we're doing is drying out the tobacco, make sure the humidity and the filler, the binder, and the wrapper is equal. It's all, and that takes about anywhere from 1 week to 2 weeks to marry that tobacco. So A lot of factories have this name, Marion room. What's that? Oh, it's an aging room. No, it's a Marion room. We're just trying to get the humidity equal to the binder, filler, and the wrapper.
Do you think do you think smoking that cigar, that last cigar he rolls? I mean, like you said, I understand the whole concept of not smoking it, but I am so like in love with the whole idea of rolling your last cigar for the day, taking it home, eating it and smoking it. Do you think that was just kind of a ritual, or maybe some sort of you know how some folks have a little bit of like I said, a ritual or something that they do at the end of every day. It's like it's buttoning up a great day of rolling cigars by rolling the last one and smoking that last one. There's something romantic about that.
You know,
I think the combination of things. I think if I looked at my grandfather didn't drink, but he would be that Scotch drinker with water, dilute that flavor a little bit. So he liked that diluted flavor because I never saw him reach for an older cigar. Never. It's always the cigar he rolled today. And so even the weekend, he didn't. And Sunday, when I was watching my grandma, he would never smoke a cigar. Maybe because he says, I didn't roll it today. I'm not going to smoke a 2-a-day-old.
Little superstition, little ritual going on. I think that's great.
And maybe a little quality control as well. You know, at the end of the day, he's like, oh, hey, maybe this one is a little tight or something was a little off. And he's like, hey, maybe tomorrow I go in and, I fix that a little bit. So maybe a little quality control.
That's the Kevin. That's the Kevin quality control.
Yeah, I think anybody, any cigar you're going to roll for yourself is going to be a perfect cigar.
Oh yeah,
perfect cigar. So I've always said don't buy any cigars that are made on Monday or Friday. Monday they're coming over from the weekend. Don't buy a truck that was made on a Monday or a Friday. And so only Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday cigars you should buy. But
I'm a mechanic, and we always, when we see like a vehicle and it's got it's new and it's got a bunch of problems with it, we always say, fucking Friday truck. It's just we always say that to this day.
Like going into a deli right before closing.
Yeah.
Guys, can I take a break because my battery is going to die and I need to get my charger.
Go and grab it for sure.
All right, sorry. Hold on. I'm so sorry.
So, but yeah, to this date, still don't buy a Friday vehicle. Try and figure out when that bad boy was made. And we know now with today's technology,
where's my charger?
In quality control that that doesn't make it's not a thing anymore, but.
Kevin, you were thinking his grandfather's going home with schematics. I got to do quality control. I got to. Well, oh my gosh! Was I rolling all of them this way?
Yeah,
I got to change that tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't think my grandfather cared about your fucking cigar you were smoking. He would pay for that cigar. It's your problem.
Yeah,
it's your problem, not mine.
I love that though. I think that is really so like. It's like a bow on at the end of the day to be able to just take that cigar home and smoke it.
Because there's not a lot of us that can take our work home and appreciate what we did all day long. I guess if you're making food or candies or whatever, if they allow you to take something home, but I would probably say for 99% of the population, we can't do something all day long, take that home and actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
So the cigar is definitely something cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Now, Ricky, your daughter Sarah, also born and raised in Tampa. What are some of the things that you used to do in Tampa as a kid to where you would never allow her to do? And like, no, you are not doing. She's like, but Dad, you used to ride your bike across the Howard Franklin all the time, whatever it was.
For me, up until I was 15 years old, I would want Sarah to have my life. After 15, those are stories that I share with her. Never do this. Never do this. Never do this. Learn from me. That's the problem. So, no, it was a great, a situation for her because my family was shattered when I was about 11 years old. My dad and mom divorced, and it just broke this family apart. So I kind of run away from my house when I was 15 years old. And so I just kind of realized my father was a heavy drinker, sad story, but it made the man I am today. So take all of that kind of sadness and turn it to happiness, because I'm sitting here today because of the lessons I learned throughout my life. And we're going to share some of these stories through the series called Attic.
Yes, we're going
We'll talk about that, and what we're going to do that to share these unique stories of my growing up in Tampa, because I was growing up. I was 15 years old in 1975, and so Tampa was a wild town in 1975, and I was part of this wildness. And to be here today, I should not. I should be either dead, in prison. That was my direction I was heading. But I was also very aware of people wanting to share their knowledge with me and direct me to a better path. And so it just ended up good. But I would never want my daughter to ever experience what I experienced from age 15 until I was married to my beautiful wife of 37 years. I would never want her.
Watching you and Sarah interact is the same with my daughter. My daughter's 27.
Okay.
Jessica, is that correct?
She's 28.
28.
Just turned
Okay.
28.
It just turned 28. And we're like, so when you look at you and Sarah, like you guys are best friends. And that's the same with me and my daughter. Like we joke around, we have fun together, and that's why I love watching just you and your daughter interacting, because it's just such a great relationship to have. Now, is she smoking cigars yet?
No, she's not. But she loves the history. She loves our history of our family. She loves the aroma. She loves everything but the. And so what you discover is, take your daughter. If you want your daughter to be a part of your business or whatever you're doing in life, it has to come from them. It has to come. So if I asked Sarah 5 years ago, I'm going to quit General Cigar and I'm open my own company up, do you want to work with me? The answer at that time would be no. She had to come to me. So she graduated college at Florida, and she took off. So for the last 9 years, she's been traveling the world by herself. So she ended up living in Australia by herself for a year. She went to the Philippines. She went to Asia. She went all through Europe. She's been. She loved the Central America. She lived in Nicaragua for a year by herself. And so that's kind of like, this is cool. And I'm watching my father travel the world, talking about this history of our family. And I'm very interested in, Dad, I want to work with. And that started this process of me leaving General Cigar in 2020 and started the process of forming West Tampa with my partner, Gus, today. Because she wanted to be a part of it.
You're right on that. So my daughter, I've always, I have a son too. He's not mechanically inclined, not good working with his hands. He's a tech guy, computer guy. Okay. And I really wanted to teach my daughter stuff, how to use equipment. And I never wanted to push her into that. And I remember one day years ago, she called me up out of the blue, like, Dad, I'm getting older now. She was probably 21 at the time. She goes, I think I need to learn woodworking. I'd like to work on a project. And like my heart exploded, my mind, like, yes. So we built a set of cornhole boards, from scratch. And it was a great day of cutting, sawing, teaching her how to use a drill. And she still talks about that because it was, because it was her idea. I didn't push her like, oh, I remember this time my dad made me do this and I ended up loving it. So I love that she came to you, with that. How old were you?
If
No,
you have a son,
Yeah.
and you're a baseball fan, you played throughout high school, maybe college, and never going to, and you see your son, you're going to be. It has to come from them. You can't live through them. You can't live their life for them. So when Sarah approached me, and I remember the explosion of her heart. Inside, it was fireworks. And I remember, really, that's interesting. Let me think about this. I knew the answer right away, but yeah, because I didn't want her to feel like, oh, yeah, that is easy. I want her to experience the hard part of being in any business. So she's going to start from ground zero. Matter of fact, she's heading to the factory to train in the factory. We went to, she's never going to be a blender. And I said, Sarah, you cannot go out there and represent West Tampa through my life experience. You have to create your own avenue. So if you're not going to be the smoker, the blender, what can you do? Brilliant. Your grandmother, grandfather were rollers. I can roll a cigar. I've been trained, but I cannot roll a cigar. But I can train you, and you can demonstrate what they do in the factory and also talk about our history because it's true to you. It's not just my words coming out of your mouth. This is what you do. I can't do that. You can't blend, but I can't. You can roll. I can't roll, but I can blend. So that it's a natural form of our relationship to continue this path together.
Yeah, and then her wanting in. I remember Kerr. You were telling me about the story about your son Joe. You know, because Kerr was a football player, high school, college, and when he wanted to play football, I know you were a little.
No.
Yeah, no, he was a little thin. You know, to play football, but you could have pushed him into that, you know, as well, and it probably would have tainted his, you know, for even going into cross country.
I probably would have. I'd be live from a storage unit because he probably would have got seriously hurt, and Jennifer would have kicked me out for not dissuading him from putting himself in harm's way.
So growing up with your grandparents.
There was a question.
What's that? Ask Ricky, bro. The black and white are both Habano wrappers.
Yes, great question, and they're not Maduro. So if you look at the black, it's not Maduro. My trainer, again, when I'm talking about my cigars or our cigars, or I'm talking about West Tampa, whatever anybody else says to you, if somebody else has any dark wrapper, it's Maduro because it's just a ripe, kind of situation. And my training, if you cannot rotate that in your lips and taste the natural sweetness, that's not Maduro. So all we're doing with the same wrapper is aging it fermenting it about 3 months longer, thus changing the color. But if I blindfold you and give you the wrapper of white and black, you're saying, okay, give me the black one because I'm smoking the same. No, you take your blindfold off. You just finish the dark one. It's oh my God. So when we did this blend, I want to focus on your flavor coming from the white from the wrapper, but I'm using the same wrapper for the black. So the focus is coming, or the taste is coming from the blend. So I'm downplaying the fillers for the white, highlighting the wrapper, but I'm reversing that, downplaying the wrapper of the black, highlighting the filler on the black.
Oh, right on. So a great question. I forget who posted that up. So thank you.
It was Christopher.
Oh, Christopher. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Thanks, Chris. One thing I was going to ask you: growing up with rollers for grandparents, were you smoking at a young age? Was that always something that you were around, or when was your first cigar?
When I was hired with General Cigar.
Really?
I've never been a fan. My father and mother were cigarette smokers that turned me off to smoking at all. So I remember the guy that tried to recruit me and to working with General Cigar is Dave Bullock. Dave Bullock worked for Rocky Patel today. He was the guy that hired me. He was working with General Cigar, and we got to know each other through classes when I'm having my only child, Sarah. He was having his first 4 children, and we met and we kind of formed this friendship. And he says, "Bro, what do you do?" "I'm in the flooring business. I sell wood floor, ceramic tile, and carpet." "Oh, really? So what do you do, Dave?" "I work for Nestle's. You want to sell candy bars?" No, I'm not going to fucking sell candy bars. And so, no. And he went away, and we kind of lost touch for about 2 years. And about 2 years later, he called me out of the blue. "Ricky, it's Dave." "Dave who?" "Dave who?" "Oh, Nestle guy. What are you doing?" "I'm working for a new company called B&B Beans. You want to sell cans of baked beans?" I pro no, no. Because at that time, I only wanted to sell that's something that I have to offer my friends. So
Yeah.
if you need new flooring for my house, your house, talk to me. I have the discount I can give you. But nobody's going to come to my house. "Can you spare a can of baked beans?" "No, bro, this had no value." So, no, Dave, thank you so much. And about a year later, he called me out of the blue. Again, "Ricky, it's Dave." "Dave who?" "No fucking bro." "Dave Bullock." "Who are you working for?" "General Cigar." "Who's General Cigar?" And we make Macanudo, Cohiba, Punch, Partagas, Hoya, and La Gloria. And so we want you to be a salesman. I'm assuming you smoke cigars. Of course, Dave. My history, my grandfather. Yes. So we're in Ybor City, and we're walking, and Dave was smoking a cigarette. I said, "Bro, you need to put that fucking nasty thing down and let me buy you a cigar." I bought a Macanudo Portofino for him, and I bought a 858 for Fuente for me. And we're walking, and I'm choking the cigar down. My wife was like, "What are you doing?" "I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to get a job." And I'm smoking the cigar. And Dave says, "Okay, what do you want to do?" I said, "Bro, I want to leave the flooring industry. I want to sell cigars. You're hired." And they hired me. And they assumed that I was a heavy cigar smoker. And that was the first cigar of my life. And now
Wow.
I smoke about 10 cigars a day because they're
You
all
know,
free.
now, my buddy is a bread salesman, and
Right.
and I'm always like, "Hey, you got any bagels?"
Yeah,
We got bread.
yeah.
So I mean, so
Yeah.
beans, like I love beans. If I had a good bean guy that'd hook me
Yeah.
up, God,
Yeah,
I'd
I
have
got a
beans.
I got a bean guy, Kev.
Yeah, you gotta, yeah. That's what all my friends be getting for
Yeah.
Christmas: beans, and that would be awesome. So yeah, so in 2000, that was your first cigar job and your first cigar. Being a rep back then, like what was your territory? What were you doing back then?
So my territory is Tampa, Orlando, the Panhandle, and Jacksonville. That was my territory. And so when they hired me, I think they had 27 reps, and the territory I took over was number 25 of 27 reps.
Oh
So
wow!
very small at the eyes of General Cigar. And I remember calling Dave one time because I wanted to leave the industry, the sporting industry, so bad. I took this leap of faith and signed with General Cigar at half my pay that I was receiving. And so I remember starting, and about 6 months later, we kind of worked through all our savings. And my wife was crying one day in the office, like, "What are you crying about?" "Ricky, you need to fucking quit and go back to work because we can't pay our mortgage today. We don't have the money. I was just paying the mortgage out of our savings because you're not making enough money. We bought this house based on your old pay. So right now you need to quit, and there's no turning back because the way I quit that business, I burned every bridge. I burned every bridge. And so there's no way. So I called Dave and say, "Dave, bro, I need to leave." And he says, "Bro, I think you're going to be somebody special for us." And I said, "Bro, whatever you think of me, I need to leave because you got me too cheap." I said, "Well, how much money you need?" I said, "Bro, I don't know. My mortgage is about $1,800 a month." I calculate. All right, let me call you back. And he called Messicoma and said, we have the new guy in Florida, and he wants to quit because we got him too cheap. And so, well, what does he need? About $30,000 more. And he says, okay, give it to him. And they called me back and said, we're going to rate your salary. We're going to pay you like we should have paid you day one at $80,000 a year. And we're going to give you this money. Hopefully you're going to stay with us. And I said, Dave, if you do that, I will be number one for sales. He says, Ricky, you're never going to be number one. Your territory is too small. And I said, well, you know what? It's not going to be a lack of effort. I'm going to try my hardest to be number one. And about 2 months later, I had a meeting with ABC Liquor, and they only had stand-up humidors, one humidor in their liquor stores. And said, we're going to build a walk-in humidor in our shops, our liquor stores. And so you're the best rep we have. We love to work with you. We at that time we had 2 cigar boxes. We had 1 punch and 1 Macanudo in the line of 10 cigars that he carried. And says, well, let's go and have a meeting. If we do this humidor, a walk-in, how many cigars do you think General Cigar could provide us? I said, at least 150 styles and boxes. Okay, go to downstairs and we'll give you an opening order. And they gave me an order for about $1.3 million.
Wow.
And I was walking out and I called Dave. I said, Dave, I have an order from ABC. Oh, I was just going to call you. We need an extra $5,000 from ABC this month. Okay, how about this number? And he said, what is that? And so I went from 25 to number one in less than 3 months later. And I was number one for the last 3.5 years. I was as a salesman for Jello Cigar. And that started my kind of getting the attention of everybody. And so Mensa Coleman had Benji come to do an event with me to spy on me. Benji, we want to see if Ricky can absorb what you're saying to the consumers and he can repeat your stories. And I remember Benji says, this event, you handle. I'm just going to sit there. I want you to take over. And I did it. And Benji called Mr. Coleman and says, you have your mind. And they called me the next day. Your days are selling cigars for General Cigar over. We're going to send you to the factories for 2 years, and we're going to train you to be a blender. And that started my path.
That was going to be my next question, because by the time, when STG acquired General in 2009, you were the blender and brand ambassador for CAO. And I'm like, how did this guy go from being a rep in 2000 to be on a blender in 2009? So what did those 2 years, what were you doing? What were those like? Were you down there all the time? You were back and forth? What happened in 2 years?
No, they shipped me to the DR for a year, and then I lived in the DR for a year. That I came home maybe twice or 3 times a quarter for the weekend. But I lived and breathed and ate tobacco. But that training showed me how General Cigar or any business accept tobacco from the farm and the process that we put that tobacco through to make a cigar and ship the cigar. Never once did they train me how to blend or how to put together a blend. So after that year in the DR, that following year, I went to Honduras and trained. I said, why would I go to Honduras? I just trained. Oh, we have at that time 2 factories. What they do in the DR, they don't do in Honduras. So you need to run the process of how they do it in Honduras. And so I trained in that for a year. And then after that, they put me with Benji for 5 years. And 5 years, I traveled with Benji to help him get around because he's getting older, and drove him around, fly together, stay in hotels together, eat dinner together. side by side Siamese twins for 5 years, and he taught me the art. So we did an event in the shops, but what happened is all the dry time, all the downtime is where Benji, could I ever take this wrapper and these fillers and combine them? No, Ricky, they'll fight each other. If I was you, I would take that wrapper and use these fillers to highlight that. And he taught me how to blend cigars. And so after that, Ernesto left La Gloria, and we formed a team called Team La Gloria. And I was in charge of blending for La Gloria. We had the general manager, that head of at that time, the head of production for La Gloria, and Marco Giannini was a marketing guy for La Gloria. So it took 3 guys to replace 1 guy, and that lasted about 18 months. And all of a sudden, I got the tip on the shoulder. We're done with you in La Gloria. We just bought CAO, and their blender is retiring. We're going to move you from the DR to Nicaragua, and you're going to be responsible to create cigars for CAO. So that was 15 years ago.
Now, when Jono decided to sell the company and you guys bought it, did you have and we just had his son on just a couple weeks ago, Tim, but and one thing I never even thought to ask him, but now that you mention that, did you work with Jono at all, or Tim? I mean, so discussing blends, so you guys never got together, so you just.
Matter of fact, I've never met that family. Matter of fact, I knew of Tim because he was doing his thing before I took over, because he was a very, to see Tim talk about cigars and his family, it is a show. It is a show. If you had never been at an event with Tim doing it, do yourself a favor and go to the event. I don't care if you like his cigars, just a knowledge of the history he's going to share with you. A great performer. And so I never met him. And at the trade show, he announced before the trade show, he's going to do his own thing and come back to the business. And he walked to CAO's booth, or West Tampa's booth, and I said, "Oh my God, that's Tim." The first time I shook his hand was at the trade show last year in Vegas.
Wow.
And I said, "Tim, wow, the fuck, thank you, bro. I would not be here today without this foundation that your family gave me." He said, "Ricky, what you did for our business and keeping CL alive, thank you." I said, "Bro, without you and your father, your sister, I would not be here." He says, "I still consider CL our business. I sold it, but we are enjoying everything that you did for CL." And so it was a kind of hugs, and we walked away. It's like, "Oh my God, I thank you." And he was thanking me. And it was a beautiful moment. And so, but I never met him.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what a cool kind of reunion. He's starting his new company. You're starting your new company. Now you had mentioned Benji Menendez. So you worked with Benji Menendez, Daniel Nunez, and Ernesto Carrillo. So, my camera's cutting out a little bit. What's just one thing that each of those master blenders, because they truly are master blenders, what did they teach you, either as in cigars or life in general, that you still, when you wake up every morning, you're like, "I'm going to do this because Benji said it," or "I'm going to do this because Ernesto or Daniel said it"? What's one thing each of those taught you with your time with them?
I think Danielle taught me how to run a factory. Kind of hard. He was a hard man to work for. He was very demanding of his people. I learned this: don't treat people like that. He's a great teacher, but he was kind of hard. And so that lesson to me was taught to me: you have the control over people. You don't need to treat people like that. So I think that taught me how to, if I ever had my own factory, how to appreciate the guy that was sweeping the floor all the way to a general manager. Nobody is above anybody. That's what Mr. Coleman taught me. Mr. Coleman taught me respect everybody that works with you, because you don't want to go to a factory with floors all trashed and all that. Because if you don't care about your factory, why should your people care about your cigar? And he taught me how to respect people. Ernesto taught me about, after you receive tobacco, you can destroy it or make it better through the process of fermentation. So my training with Ernesto was practically only fermentation, because he thought that was the true art of any factory. Because we're all using the same tobaccos. We're all using the same tobacco, going to the same growers. But if you treat that tobacco with respect, you can make a better cigar than the other guy that's using the same tobacco that has no respect for that tobacco. But Benji taught me how to be a better man, a better father, a better husband. Bro, it touched my heart today. Yeah. Wow. So, along with sharing the knowledge of his, wow, so sorry, guys.
No.
Along with sharing the knowledge of tobacco, about 80% of the time, respect of being a friend, a father, and a family man. And today, Benji looks at me as a son, and I definitely look at. I never had a father figure. My grandfather died when I was about 8 years old, and so that was never a part of my life, other than seeing my grandfather smoke a cigar. And my father was out of my life, so I was always searching for that man figure. And Benji, Mr. Coleman, was smart enough. Benji, bless his heart, has 2 sons, twins, my age, but they're mentally handicapped. And so they're still living with Benji at 62 years old. They still live with Benji, and you're dealing with a grown man, but the mindset of maybe a 7-year-old child. And so he's always saying to Mr. Coleman, I'm going to go away. I'm going to die with all this knowledge. You have to give me somebody to share this knowledge with. And Mr. Coleman, one time I mentioned to Mr. Coleman, I'm from a broken family. I never had a father figure in my life. That's the reason I love you, Mr. Coleman. No, I'm going to have you introduce you to somebody, and that formed this tight relationship with. I just talked to Benji about 5 minutes before I called you guys. And so he's part of my team. Any samples I create, Benji has to smoke them, has to be, kind of give me the okay. And so he's a great, great man. I owe him my life. Yeah. I'm so sorry, bro. It's so touching for me.
No,
because it's why me? It's why me? Why me? Why me? Because I remember when I was given this opportunity to start this training, and I went to my family, and it was Sarah and my wife Susan, and I remember crying, my life is going to change. So why me? Why me? There's so many other guys and girls that work for General Cigar. And Sarah placed his hand on my chest. Why not you? Oh. You're right. Let's go to work. Let's go to work. And so for these guys, if you look at Frank and Nessa passed away, Benji retired, Mr. Coleman passed away, Ernesto's still doing his thing. But before they left General Cigar, they turned around and said, I'm going to share all of my knowledge with you. Do what you want with it, Ricky. And they just bombarded me with all this knowledge of the history of tobacco, how we grow it, how we ferment it, how we roll it, how we do this. And why me? Why are you doing this for me? Because you're a good guy, and I think you're going to be able to share our stories with everybody. And that's all they wanted. Share our stories, share our stories. Let these guys know and girls know how hard it is to make a cigar and how beautiful it is to make a cigar. I could do that. I could do that.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that story. And I'm always the one that cries on the show. Always. I've got tearied and dozens of times. So I love that. Fantastic story. Now there's 2 stories that I'd like you to tell. You know, you told me, and I love them, and I think our listeners would love to hear them as well. And then we'll move on to West Tampa. We'll come into the talking about the past. We'll get into the present and the future coming up here just shortly. One that you told me when we met up for the first time at Cigars in Sarasota, how the CAO flathead. I mean, one of the most iconic cigar boxes in history. How that came about, you know, and just that mad story. Can you tell our viewers tonight that great story?
Yeah, so GTO Cigar always gave us any company or any marketing finger of the company a year to create the story, the blend, and the cigar. And so we're working on a project for about 6-7 months, and we couldn't get it down because this project was directly from the marketing department. So they wanted to create a cigar with about 7 to 9 tobaccos. They wanted to take the World Series. Could we make the World Series in one cigar using tobacco from Nicaragua, from Colombia, from Brazil, from Italia, and make one cigar? And we're watching, bro, every cigar we smoke, this is not right. This is not right. And then they started to share the presentation, the packaging, the name. And I was like, stop. What are you going to call it? Sync, like the boy band in Sync? No, you got to be kidding me. Sync is I don't like that name. Well, it's not your job to name cigars, Ricky. Your job is to blend cigars. We're the marketing department. I don't like this. And they showed me the box, and it was a rainbow. Bro, you got to be kidding me. I'm not going to stand in front of anybody with a fucking boy band name and the cigar that looks like, the rainbow flag. And no, I'm not going to do it. Well, and I called the president of the company. I happened to be in the factory, and we're done. We've smoked 100 cigars. We cannot get this blend to perform. I'm out. Ricky, if you don't have a cigar at the trade show, now you realize this is year 3. What is going to happen? When we took over CAO, they said to me, you have 3 years. If you don't correct this, because at that time, CAO was just doing this in sales. If you don't correct that, what we're going to do is take CAO and give it to CI as a house blend. Only could be purchased through CI. So it's your job to correct that, because if you don't, you're going to. So we did OSA, the first cigar. Okay, it's okay. We did Concert, the second cigar. Epic failure. I mean, fell on our ass. And so you have one more shot. It's not fucking Sync. It's not Sync. I know that for sure. My life is over if I have to do this, because I don't believe in this project. I can't stand up in front of anybody and lie to them. Try this cigar. It's great. It's great cigar. So I'm not going to do it. So I remember talking to the president and said, Ricky, if you don't have a cigar, what are you going to do? I said, I have this crazy concept. Let me develop this box. And I have a name called Flathead. What does Flathead represent? Oh, it's my love affair for the old car engines for Ford, the Flathead engine. I want to do this. I don't know about this. Flathead? Bro, Ricky, okay, I'll give you the name. You can do the name. And so what about the blend? Give me this week. And it was a Monday. Tuesday afternoon, I said, guys, throw away all the cigars that we've been working on for the last 8 months. Throw them up. Burn the recipes. Just get rid of them. And we're going to do Flathead. And I'm going to give you a blend. And I want my team to create a blend. I wanted to use the Connecticut. All I ask you guys to use a Connecticut broadleaf for your wrapper. Whatever your filler is, you put but I'm going to give you my recipe. And my recipe won. But we were smoking it. It was a round cigar. And I said, bro, it's burning too hot in my mouth. And I have a little roller that rolls my cigars for blends. And said, Ricky, If I was you, I would box press a cigar. And I said, "Oh, okay, we'll box press it the next day." So Thursday, we had to box press it on Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, we're smoking it. I go, this is it. This is it. So we only made two blends, and we took these blends, and I went to Richmond, and I said to the team, "This is the blend. This is the presentation. This is the name." And we cut out a little box lid and make the box lid you see today. It looks like that. This is kind of the flathead engine. That's the way it looks. And I like this. I like this. Let's smoke this cigar, and everybody loved it. Okay, let's go to the trade show and see if it works. And bro, it was a home run. It was a home run in the 8th inning, 2 outs. They win the World Series, and we didn't know what we had, and it was just exploded. And we received the next year the highest rating of General Cigars history, a 95 rated cigar.
Wow.
And it was a cigar of the year number 2, because number 2 was a Cuban. So I always said is number 3, but number 2, because number 2 was a Cuban. Nobody has the ability to do that. So I was number 2 cigar in America, and a high rating of 95. It is today the most for the cigar. They roll the 6x60, that size only, more of that size than they do in any size of General Cigar.
Wow.
It is a powerhouse. And so that really started that new kind of the new sheriff in town. It's going to be based, and all of a sudden, I didn't get. Where's Tim? Where's the the family? It was ours. It was General Cigar. CL was General Cigar, and we took off from there.
Right on. And then you had mentioned the concert. So from what you were telling me, that cigar holds the record in the cigar industry from coming out to being discontinued faster than any cigar in history.
4 months. 4 months. It was off. I mean, off. I couldn't find it. It was. They were buying it back. If you have it, send it back. Why? It's okay. No, send it back. We want to fucking burn this thing. It wasn't a cigar. It was a presentation. The presentation was too much of a gimmick. It looked like a kind of a contra. It's called contra. It was look like an amplifier, and it didn't work. Everybody oh, what is this? And it was So I have the highest rating cigar ever, and I also have the fastest cigar out the market for a General Cigar ever. In 2 years. In 2 years.
Kerr, you just smoked a concert the other day.
I did.
And it was because we come across. I think I bought 6 boxes earlier this year. And bought every single one they had, and they were amazing. Maybe it took that long.
It's an amazing cigar.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
An expensive cigar. It was an expensive cigar when it first came out. So
I've always believed that we should have repackaged that cigar. We should and let it die for 2 or 3 years, and just reintroduce that blend in another presentation and name, because I really enjoyed the cigar, but the presentation was the downfall of the cigar.
Yeah, I mean, and it happens. So we'll fast forward, like you said. You decided to leave General Cigar. What was your decision to retire? I mean, initially, was it just you're getting older, you want to spend more time with the family, or was this twirling around your head? You really wanted to start something else, or was it just it was just time?
It was Sarah. When Sarah, we all had time in 2020. We were doing what? Shutdown.
Yeah.
We're all, everybody was rethinking of their path in life. Okay, now we're shut down. Do I try to reach for something I want to do, or do I change my career right now and get into something else? Everybody went through that. And so I was sitting in my garage, and Sarah called me. She said, "Dad, I'm stuck in Nicaragua. I think I'm going to be able to fly home in 2 months, and they're going to, kind of release a ban of firing in 2 months. And I think I want to come home. I'm done with traveling, and I want to work with you. And I said, baby girl, that's not going to happen because General Cigar is not going to hire you to make me feel better. And so if you want to do that, I have to quit General Cigar and start something. Like maybe we'll start a shop together. And he says, okay, do that. Well, it's not that easy. I can't just do that. We need to kind of plan for that. You do that when I'm, kind of wanting to come home. By the time I'm home, I think you should be able to say, we're doing this. So I called Gus, my partner, said, Gus, I think I'm going to retire for General Cigar. What are you going to do? I think I'm going to open a shop with my daughter. What do you know about business or running a shop? I said, absolutely nothing. He said, well, I'm interested. Let me, I want to get back into the business. So could we form this partnership and we'll open the shop together? Brilliant. You can do your thing running the shop, but I can do my thing and kind of up front. He said, perfect. We will do that. So we're very close to opening the shop in Tampa. And he called me out of the blue one day and said, bro, I'm out. I said, what do you mean you're out? We're a month for signing a lease. We already chose the shop and all that. We're going to sign this lease. He says, no, I'm out because, bro, I still live in Richmond. If you open the shop in Tampa, all I'm going to do is collect your money from your hard work. It's going to shatter our friendship and our business partnership because I'm not doing anything for this. So if you're out, I'm not going to retire for General Cigar. I'll just break my daughter's heart. I can't do this without Gus because I don't know how to run a business. And he says, have you ever thought of your own cigar line? I said, no. Why would I do that? Because I was working for the company that has access to every tobacco in the world. I was basically left alone, so I could do anything I wanted to do. Marketing didn't affect me. Sales didn't affect me. It was always, what do you want to do, Ricky? What's your next project? So I was running my business inside General Cigar without that money. So I said, bro, let me do a business plan and see if it works. And we did this business plan. I wrote it, bro, if we can do this, if we can open 50 shops this year and maybe 2 or 3 countries next year, I think we could do this. And so we started. And he did a lot of behind the scenes. And we worked on this project for 18 months without General Cigar finding out. And so the day I retired from General Cigar, what are you going to do? I'm going to do something. On Friday, I think it was April the 29th, I retired from General Cigar, dropped their mic on the last event, and opened West Tampa on May the 2nd, the following Monday. And it was a shock to General Cigar. It was, how did you do that? Where's his contract? Oh, yeah, there's no contract. They never had me sign a contract.
Yeah, I remember hearing that story when you were telling it to Abe on KMA, and that blew my mind because when that announced within like the industry, we're all saying the same thing. He's going to get sued. He's going to get Sam Lacia'd, right out of the business. No offense to Sam or anything else like that. We love Sam, but and then when I heard that story, I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. But that's companies getting acquired. People fall through the cracks. Ricky doesn't have a contract, and he comes on in West Tampa. So let's get to the West Tampa black and the black and white. So during this process, how did you decide on the factory that you were going to? Because obviously, like you said, you had access to everything and everyone. There was nothing you couldn't acquire, and you kind of went to a factory, and then everybody's like, who the hell are these people?
Mm-hmm. We know right away that because I dealt with other companies that were seeking out General Cigar to make a cigar for them. Some high-end guys. I think everybody would be shocked to find out how many cigars we make for other companies that General Cigar does. And so we know that that's kind of true, but I know that we treat them like a number. If they go away, they go away. That doesn't affect us. So, in my heart, in my eyes, I wanted to choose a factory I could change because I knew I had the power to change somebody's life. And so I can't go to a General Cigar and change General Cigar's life. They're so big, so fucking already in place. There's no way. So it's just a number of them. So we kind of seeked out 3 factories. I gave them blends that I want them to create for me, and they started to share these blends with us. And this little factory was spot on for every cigar that I said, blend this style, use this wrapper, use this filler, a piece of this, tobacco, half a piece of this tobacco, and this, and he was spot on. And I went to visit him, and remember, he was a small factory, maybe 30 rollers. And so I'm used to going to General Cigar's factory. That in the DR we have close to 900 rollers, and Honduras we have close to 700 rollers, and close to maybe 500 rollers in Nicaragua. And so you can see this is the factory. That's the factory. And so we knew that we had the power to change these people's life. And I remember talking to Jose, the owner, says, "Do you know me?" He said, "Ricky, I'm so sorry. I don't know of you or about you." I said, good, because I don't know you. So, to road. But I know this. I can open doors for you. What's the biggest order you have ever received? 5,000. I said, boxes? No, cigars from XYZ. And somebody that we all know, a very, very popular company. He did a little sneak blend with this guy. And I said, bro, yeah, I need 180,000 cigars for first order. And so, bro, I think I could do this. Do it, but do this for me. Roll the best cigar for me that you can, because if you do that, I'm going to open doors around this world for you, and I'm going to change your life. If you give me a sample to smoke, and then you release my cigar to the public, and it's changed, I'm going to walk away for you. And so that kind of formed this relationship. And says, Ricky, I will spend sleepless nights of thinking about West Tampa. If you do that, I will also spend sleepless nights how to open accounts for you. And so we're in 400 shops right now in the U.S. in 6 months, and we're in 23 countries globally right now in 6 months.
That is
awesome.
That is insane. Now has the factory grown? Because it's still, from the pictures that I could find, it's still a pretty small factory.
They are growing, but everybody's dealing with this in Nicaragua and Honduras right now. Lack of rollers because they're heading north, and so he was able to hire some more rollers. So maybe right now he has 40 rollers, but production-wise, because we're still small, the numbers kind of seems big, but our project, our cigars sales are still, he can do it, and so, but he's realizing he needs to grow. He needs to move his factory. He's already in process of finding a new factory to enlarge his factory, to enlarge his production, and we're there for him because money is his problem. And he said, "No, I'll have the money. If you want to build a factory, I'll get you the money." I have so many guys that after that release, the minute that Monday that everybody knew, I received about 10 calls for every factory from Fuente called me, Padron called me, Davidoff, who else? Rocky did, Ernesto did. Everybody called me. So, bro, I want to work with you. I said, bro, I've already chosen my factory. And so I knew that we had the opportunity to work with multiple factories, and we're going to work with multiple factories because my training taught me if you have one factory, you have one cigar. If you have multiple factories, you have multiple cigars because everybody gets kind of tied into that kind of corner. If you say Pepin to me represents if you want a medium to full body cigar, Pepin is your guy. He is locked and loaded. But if you go to Pepin, I want a Macanudo style cigar, a mild cigar. They'll struggle because they don't know how to react to that tobacco, how to work with that tobacco. That's not their process. So what we want to do is work with multiple factories to allow us to have multiple flavors and multiple cigars in the market, not one style, and carter myself. Oh, I'm known for that mild cigar like Davidoff is, or I'm known for Pepin, that spicy full body cigar. I want to give my fan base a taste of everything, and the only way we can do that is work with multiple factories.
You're right. Because Kerr, I mean, like so. We'll take AJ for instance. Like I said, no matter, I mean, AJ makes cigars for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
AJ has that specific flavor. Like when you smoke it, like, oh yeah, this is an AJ.
Exactly.
This is an AJ cigar.
Yep.
Doesn't make any difference who it is.
Mm-hmm.
This is an AJ cigar. Same with Pepin. So there's so several.
Same with the General Cigar. Same with the General Cigar. Oh, this is just a General Cigar. This is the DR. This is Honduras. This is Nicaragua. So it's I explained it this like this. Okay, General Cigar owned some burger joints. One was called McDonald's. One was in Honduras. Is Burger King. Wendy's was Nicaragua. McDonald's was the DR. So we're all starting the same with the same ingredients: a bun and a beef patty. How we produce that burger, how we cook it, how we make it, what we put it makes it different. So the same thing. I don't want to own just McDonald's around these countries. I want to offer you a Burger King, a McDonald's, and a Wendy's. But at the end of the day, we're all starting with the same thing: tobacco or a burger. That's it. How you process that burger, and I'm going to be a fan of a Whopper. I hate the Big Mac.
Yeah,
I'm getting hungry now.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Someone known for grills, someone known for flame broiled.
Exactly.
So that's it. McDonald's could never produce a Whopper. And vice versa. So it makes complete sense. That brings us to the your new Addict series. Is the same factory making this one, or have you moved on to another factory for your new Addict line?
No, the Addict is going to be from Gurmendia, but the next release that we have, the trade show, will be another factory that we're going to. Right now, I'm going to meet with that factory tomorrow. Matter of fact, they're going to fly into Tampa, and we're going to do some sampling. I'm going to work with two factories right now on running for my next full-time launch, and that's going to be either A or B, but I'll announce it later on because I don't want to piss off the guy that you're not ready for us. But I will work. I would love to work with Ernesto. I think the story myself, he trained me to go back to Circle of Life and to end up working with some. I would love to make a cigar one day after General Cigar is done being pissed off of me, retiring. I would love to make a cigar with my old team for CO. I would love that. I would love that because I love these guys. I love their tobacco. I love their knowledge. But that's for General Cigar to approach me because they know I would do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, perfect. Kerr, take over for a second. I got to take.
So, Attic, we can.
Yes, let's talk about Attic for a little bit while Kevin excuses himself for a few minutes.
But Attic is going to be a series that we can tell some of these crazy stories that I have, it's my life story. So Attic is going to be a kind of a series of cigars that if we get some unique tobacco but they don't have a lot of the tobacco, we can use an attic because we're making about maybe 2,000 boxes of attic right now. So we can always find some unique tobacco, not enough for production for a full-time line, but we found this bell or 2 bells of this old Connecticut shade, a wrapper. Do you want to use it? It's 25 years old.
Oh,
For
wow.
sure, I'll use it in attic. But attic is also going to be our test blends. So we're smoking the attic today. That attic is going to be, I think the feedback so far has been very positive. They are like, bro, I love the cigar. It's I want more of it. And so I think we're going to make attic the 3rd series of West Tampa in March. And so if the feedback is so far is very positive for attic, if it continues, because it's only been in the market for about a week, if it continues and the feedback, we need more. We don't have more, but we're going to release that full time in another series for West Tampa. So it's going to be our kind of our playground that I'm not going to force somebody to, like you, Ken. If I go to you and say, hey, there's a new line called Attic, or this new series from West Tampa, buy all the sizes. Well, Ricky, I don't know if it's going to work or not in my shop. Well, that's up to you. Now you can buy the Attic series, only 5 boxes, spend a little money and say, hey, bro, do you like this? Yes. We'd be interested full time. I would love this cigar ever. So we're going to introduce. So sometimes it's going to be a touch blend that we want to create for a full-time launch. Sometimes it's going to be a unique tobacco or unique size. Maybe we can introduce a Lancero in the black or white by Attic. So not full-time.
Gotcha.
Putting that pressure on you to sell these, these smaller cigars called, this size, because we all know everybody thinks they want the Lanceros. They don't buy them. They don't support them. What they do is buy one. We need to give you guys a box or a cigar you could sell boxes of. Nobody buys boxes of Lanceros. They buy 1 or 2, but so it's going to be a test fun. So if you look at the attic, there's a QR code, and you can. How do I do this? Okay,
You got it right there.
And so all you do is click on that, and it's going to send you to a video, and I'm explaining attic. And
so the attic's going to be a rotating blend. Then it's going to be rotating
Yes.
blends.
Mm-hmm.
then you may release it as a different name if that blend does well.
Exactly. If we have the tobacco that we know that if we have the tobacco, your feedback is very positive, we'll introduce that at full time. Blends. So, but sometimes because of lack of tobacco, we're just now, this is never going to be full time. We only had 5 or 10 bottles of this tobacco, so we're going to do one and done.
Oh, the gold mine 25-year-old tobacco.
Yeah, that
or at least every 25 years.
Yeah. That's it. So
I'll be there for one release. 5 years. I'm not going to be there for the next one.
And then each one in the attic line, am I correct? There's going to be a story behind each one.
Yes, but the stories are going to really okay. All right, let's go back. When you look at West Tampa, I have to do marketing and sales and create cigars for the market. But sometimes I have this strange idea to maybe a barber pole. And I know I'm not going to release it full time, but I want to see if I can put a Mexican wrapper with a Connecticut broadleaf together and see that works. That's our attic. It's going to be an attic. But what we're going to do for the second attic, we're going to have the fans choose the story they want to hear from me. And how we're going to do that is, I think, brilliant. We're going to show you 3 boxes, and in the 3 boxes is going to be 3 pictures. And I can say this: one of the boxes is going to have a picture of a cheesesteak sandwich for Philadelphia, a pair of skinny jeans, white jeans, and an airplane. What's that have to do with a story? Well, you need to choose that story. The other box will have a chicken, a package, and a trailer. Okay, what? Okay, the other one is going to be a gun, a baby, and an ear. Okay, how does that a story? Click it, vote for that, and whatever they vote on, I'm going to sit there through this QR code and say, you have chosen box number 1. That box number 1 has a Philly cheesesteak sandwich, a pair of skinny white jeans, and an airplane. And there's a story that connects all 3 of those together. And I'm going to share that story.
Now, are you able to share the Philly cheesesteak? Is it Geno's or Pat's?
You know what? It was both. It was both. Because you know what? Everybody knows this story. I'm going to give you the story.
Is it the story about you flying on a plane with a cheese? Okay, I don't know the story. Someone reached out to me before the show. I'm like, hey, see if he'll talk about the plane story with the cheesesteak.
So, if you don't mind, I'll share it and for
please,
everybody. But I voted. So, the first time I went to Philadelphia, I did an event, and I was done with the event. I'm going back to downtown, and I'm staying in a high-rise hotel. I went on 32nd floor of this, high-rise, and I said to the cab driver, "Hey, bro, I'm starving. I need something to eat. Oh, what do you want, bro? We're in Philly. I need a Philly cheese steak sandwich. Well, Gino the Pats is open. Well, you tell me. I don't know. Oh, I love Gino's. Let's go to Gino's." And I went there, and I wanted to experience that fucking sandwich the right way. I said, "Bro, I'm going to eat the sandwich, keep the meter running, but I'm not going to take it in my room. I'm going to eat it like the Philly guys." So I leaned it up against his car, and I was eating, and I said, "Bro, I'll buy you a sandwich you want. You can share." "No, I'll just wait for you." I'm eating the sandwich, and I ate the fucking whole thing, and I went to my hotel. Then the next day, I said, "Okay, I have a flight at 3 o'clock, so I'm going to go downstairs and work out or treadmill." I walk every day. So I went on the treadmill downstairs. That was a little fart. Okay, don't worry about it. Oh, Philly cheesesteaks fart.
That cheese whiz.
Ooh, that was kind of wet. Okay, I don't care. And I turned the thing I'm working on. I turned it off, and bro, my stomach went upside down. I'm now going to the elevator. I was, oh my god, I'm gonna puke right now. And I go to the elevator. Thank you God, there was nobody on the elevator. So push 32. I'm on floor number 1, and I'm riding it up.
Oh,
and
God.
That elevator was going like this.
Yeah, the slowest ride.
Oh my god. And all of a sudden I felt myself kind of squatting down. Oh my god. Boom, 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 boom. I was walking off of the elevator. I hear squeaking in my tennis shoes. It was so bad. So I go to the room. I took all my clothes off. I'm laying on the bathroom floor of this hotel room, and it exploded. It exploded. I said, "Oh my god, I'm going to die like Elvis in the bathroom." I'm in the bathroom. So I am sick as a dog. I'm puking and shitting at the same time. And so I kind of folded off the towels, my clothes, my tennis shoes, went to the sink, and I went to the bed, and I was laying there. Oh my god, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I have a flight in fucking 6 hours. So I'm not saying, oh my god. And so about 12 o'clock, I'm fine. Matter of fact, it's so fine. I'm starving. I have nothing in my system. So I'm on my way to the airport, and I say, "Hey, bro, I had a bad episode with Gino's last night." "Oh, my Gino's. Pat's the way to go. Let's go to Pat's. Get back on that horse. Get back on that horse. And I got back on the horse, and I ate that fucking sandwich the same way. Go to my airport feeling like a champ. I'm just walking through that airport. Everything's fine. And so I get to the plane, and I'm in the plane, and the plane, the door shut, and window, a girl, and a fat dude. And I was saying, oh my God, my stomach flipped out. No. Boom. And the girl came, you need something? Hey, bro, I need some, like a ginger ale. My stomach is very upset. When we took off, I'll serve you first. I need it right now. Nope, we're taking off. So they're taxiing out. And I said, okay, well, that's not gonna, bro, skinny white jeans. At 60 fucking, 60-year-old, I'm fucking in skinny white jeans. And so I looked at the girl and said, I'm so sorry. I need to go to the restroom. And it's like, get on the seat, go to the, and the girls are like, sit down. They're all strapped in. The plane is now doing this. Taking off.
And you're
Sit down. I'm walking to the back. I was a row in maybe a 5, and I'm going to the back row fucking 55. And I'm in the restaurant, and they are announcing, sit down, sir, sit down. And I can't. I'm going to the restroom. I went to the restroom. Boom. Whatever happened. And they were knocking on the door. Sir, are you okay? Yeah, just give me 5 minutes. Bro, when I opened that door, the stink followed me from row 55 all the way. And everybody started doing this. Oh my God. Take the plane down the next time. Just bomb us. I was so embarrassed, bro. So I'm on my way back, and the guy is still trapping. They don't want to get up because they're still taking off. I'm not going to get up. And so I'm kind of, really? So I'm doing this and making my way in, and I sat down. And the girl's like, oh my God, what happened to you? I'm sick. Gino's a pass. Don't worry about it. And about an hour later, she says, sir, I don't know how to say this to you, but you need to, when you stand up, you need to put something over your rear because you have a little fucking brown stain. What do you mean? A brown? Yeah, whatever happened. Yeah, you have a fucking brown stain in your skinny white jeans. Oh my God, girl, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Bless her heart. Said, yeah, I let everybody board, and I walked in and said, you have a napkin or a paper towel or something? Why? And I said, oh my God, wrap this around. And they gave me one of their, whatever it is, that's wrapping it around you. And I walked out, and I went to my car, and my wife was me. How was your trip? I don't think Marriott wants me back, and I know for a fact Delta never wants me to fly that airline again. So that is my skinny white jeans with the Philly cheesesteak sandwich in that.
Both Geno's and Pat's. God.
Yeah.
So what did I do the next time I went to Philly? I didn't eat Gino's Pat's. I went to Jim's, and it never happened again. Thank God.
Oh my God, Kerr, do you have a favorite cheesesteak in Philly?
It's not Gino's or Pat's. I've been to both. No, I've been to both multiple times.
Horrible. They're horrible.
It's the worst. It's you
not because of my story, but the cheesesteak sandwich is not good.
Oh no,
it's not good.
I don't have a horrible story like that. I
Thank God.
I have a story. It's just not. It's it's the nostalgia thing to do to when you go to Philadelphia to go to Gino's or Pat's, but when you see where it's just not a good scene.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think I guess the best Philly cheesesteak I had was in Jersey, right across the river.
Yes, Jersey.
Yeah. I always, like the last couple times I flew, I always get the window seat, but both times, like I said, the aisle and the center people were already there. So they get up. I have to sit down. And the first thing I do in all 3 seats, I don't even ask. I grab all 3 airline sickness bags. And I always say, I go, it's been a while since I've had to use one of these, but the last time I did, I needed all 3. And there's nothing worse than getting off a plane and then they're greeting you or at the front, like, oh, hey, hope you had a great flight. And you got to hand them a bag and they know what's in that bag. Oh, and it always just ruins
I think that when I
Dang
entered
cookies.
the plane, never, nobody greeted me, talked to me. I think they radio, hey, bro, when we land in Tampa, you need to fucking have this plane off the fucking tarmac and fumigate it with peppery, light scents. I don't know, bro. It is, bro. I've never been sick in my travels. I'm so lucky. That was the only time, but it was a bad time. But that's my story, and so you can vote for that one.
The first time I'll blame Gino's. The second one's all you. That one's
that's it. To go back, and I thought I stunk up a plane once with my backpack coming back from visiting the farm in Kentucky that grows all the fire cured tobacco. I smelled a fire cured. My backpack
that smells like roses. That smells like roses on the cream. Oh, bro. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm done.
So that's one story. So can you imagine the other group of stories?
Yeah. No. Now I can't wait to hear the
the baby with the gun in the ear. It's an epic story.
Yeah.
And don't worry about the cock, the package in the trailer. That's another great story.
I cannot wait to hear those.
I love that Bruce said that he's never.
Yeah, Bruce said he's never heard that story. So, oh my God,
that's awesome.
Oh, I just shared with quiet with friends that
and we've heard it. It's always the Caldwell guys that tell us these stories that involve shit. It's always Caldwell. So you're the first manufacturer that's ever had a poop story.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro.
Outside of a Caldwell. Hey,
so.
You travel enough, you're gonna have
everybody.
A shit story.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Talking about leaving everybody on a high note. For
awesome.
I'm not hungry anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like that story could have been a Kevin story though too.
Oh yeah, like that is something that is definitely a me story. But out of all the places that you've flown all over the world, what's been your favorite place to visit, either as in a vacation or cigar related? Where's been your favorite place?
China. When I went to China, that stole my heart, bro.
Really?
I've been to Europe a number of times. China, I've only visited one time. Bro, if you go to Europe and kind of shut your ears, they look like us. The scenery is kind of the same. It's like you go to Munich or France or Paris. It looks like New York, but they have the tower. But if you close your ears, they all. But when I went to China, that took me by surprise. Just the sheer size, the weight that you feel when I was in Beijing. I now know how people from outside this country, when they visit DC, you feel that power of this country to DC. When you see these buildings, that represents the power of this country. That's what I felt when I was in Beijing, and it was overwhelming. But if I don't ever go back to Europe, perfect, surfed it, visited 10 times for travels for CL, but I will be back in China because China just stole my heart. It's a unique country. I felt like I was on another planet. China for sure. For visiting, Italy. I would love to take Sarah and Susan to Italy together. China, I would recommend it. But I don't know if it's be the same because being invited to China is one thing. Being a kind of just a visitor is something else. But what they showed me, how they treated me, I was like a king in China. So it was very unique, very touching.
Wow. And then this year has been, the big talk of China being the next like superpower when it comes to cigars and consuming cigars. They say nowhere on earth, do they smoke more cigars than the US, but they say China is they'll be there. They'll be the number one place. Are you seeing that?
I think China, to me, hold on. China right now still heavy in cigarette smoking, but think China. What I was amazed at is the quality of their cigars that they want to offer the world, and so I had the opportunity to kind of smoke 3 cigars that they wanted to share with me and get my opinion. Would the American public like the cigar? And I said, right now, no, you're not ready for the American public. How long you've been in business? And about 3 years, 5 years. I said, that's scary to me because what you're producing right now, bundle-wise, would be the best bundle on the market in the U.S. by far. We got a Chinese cigar by bundle, but they're in their mind, they want to charge, $20 for the cigar, but you're not there yet. But what I smoked, they're growing it, they're rolling it, they're producing it in China only. That was, watch out. We will be smoking a Chinese cigar in the next 5 to 10 years in America.
That's what I was just going to ask you. I didn't know. I was going to, when you said producing it, so they're doing everything. They're growing tobacco. They're rolling it. They're actually producing their own cigars.
So when I was doing the event, I had to watch what I shared with them. Because there were spies in every event I went to in China from the government. They were following me, because I'm a U.S. citizen. They don't know if it's just doing that for, I'm working for the CIA kind of as a blender. But also they're all people, and they made me aware, hey, bro, do not share any information about what you do for a living. And so when somebody asked me, talk to about fermentation, I had to answer, I don't know this process of fermentation, because what I do for a living, the tobacco that I've received has already been fermented. So I don't know the process of fermentation. I don't know what fermentation does for your cigar. That's a point blank lie, but I had to do that. So they're always, and you knew that guy was asking questions for the company that he represents. So I said, bro, how long you age your tobacco? Bro, I don't know. I love to answer that question, but every tobacco I receive has already been fermented and aged. So I don't know if they're aging that tobacco for 1 year, for 10 years. I don't know, but I could not share the knowledge I had for everybody that I would be willing to share with anybody and everybody I could share with them.
Oh, exactly. And they're known for that. I had a buddy of mine that was having he worked for a company that was having some machines, big industrial machines built in China. His company had 2 machines built, and unbeknownst to them, the factory built 3 machines. So they worked out the bugs on the 2. Chinese worked out the bugs on the 3, and then as soon as they started producing their part, a year later, all of these knockoff parts start coming off. They're like, hey, we have the only 2 machines in existence that can build this part, and then it come back to that factory that the government had them build a 3rd machine. Same with us. So I could see him asking you those questions, but I didn't know that until now, that they were producing. Now, construction wise, are they just as on point?
No, because they're all the trainings come from Cuba. If we all know, if you buy a box of Cuban cigars from Cuba, you're going to have a bad cigar or two or three or sometimes after the box is going to be tried. So they don't care. So they're learning from the wrong people. So they're learning about grown tobacco from the Cubans. They're learning about manufacturing Cubans. That's wrong. I think, that's wrong for us. I think so. But as far as I can share this, their knowledge of tasting cigars are beyond us. Beyond us. I did an event with 100 people, and they had to smoke it in a cigar. They smoked it in a cigar from CEO called, it was a La Charieta. So they have never experienced this cigar, ever saw this cigar. And so they smoked it in about 150 of the cigars through a friend of theirs in Manal. And they smoked this for this event. So what they did was, guys and girls, what we're going to do is give you a cigar. You're going to taste the cigar. You're going to give us information. How long is the cigar? What's the grain gauge of the cigar? What do you think the price point of the cigar would be? And what's the blend? I said, what's the blend? Like the wrapper? And he said, bro, just wait. And they started to report. So they had to fill out the paper, this form. And they started to release this form that it's all in Chinese. So they're reading to me, okay, out of the 100 people, 80% of the 100 people got 4 of the 5 tobaccos right.
Wow.
That blew me away. The other 20 got every tobacco right. They've never experienced a cigar. And they don't have access to a lot of cigars. They have Opus X, they have some Fuentes, they have some Rocky, but not a variety of cigars enough to. And so they were the 20 said, okay, we don't know if it's a wrapper, the binder, the fill, but these are the 5 tobaccos you're using to make the cigar. Well, I can't do that. I said to the guy, I cannot do it. I guarantee you, any cigar you give me, I can say, the wrapper, you can buy from me, the wrapper is this. I don't know the fellers. Maybe it's Nicaragua spice. Oh, you have some Nicaragua. Oh, yeah, it's brilliant. There's 2 other tobaccos from Mexico and Honduras. I couldn't do it. But they did it right. What tripped them up was the ring gauge. Half of them said it was a 52 and it was a 50. So 2 people got it all right. The blend, the tobacco, the size, the price point, and the ring gauge. And it was a couple. And I said, bro, I want to meet these guys. And they own a shop. And they said, bro, I would love for you to visit our shop. And I did, but it was a very small shop. And the dude smokes like this. Okay, I'm done. And the girl was like, all right, I'm ready. And they explained it. I sure. So the guy that was putting the event on, and I said, can you do this? I said, bro, I'm so far past that. Do you have another cigar on your bag that I have never seen? Yes, I do. I had a session, the CEO session.
Yeah.
I said, I have one. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see anything about this cigar. So he sat behind me and he put his chair behind me and he says, light your cigar and smoke it about a third of the way. Let me know. And I'm smoking the cigar, talking to him. And I said, about the third of the way, he says to the girl, give me my jar. And the girl gave him the jar. It's a glass jar. It looks like that tube that you use at banks to send your money through. It looked like that. And so he says, do me a favor, take this tube, unscrew the lid, and blow your cigar smoke into that lid. And I said, and it says, seal that lid and give it to me. And I handed it to him. And he says, I'm chiming it, 1 minute, open it up, smell it, close it, another minute. Okay, I know you have Connecticut broadleaf, maybe Nicaraguan, and there's another tobacco. I don't have my thing. He says, I want to be able to go to any shop, walk by somebody, says, you're smoking Walker Patel's Edge. How do you know that? I smell it.
floored me.
Wow.
Floored me.
Wow.
So these guys are copiers. So that's the reason that we can share, because they're going to take that knowledge and they're going to use it, because they don't know how to think about, but they can copy anything we have. But that was overwhelming to me.
Wow, that is, Kerr, can you even imagine being able to do that? That is,
Yeah, you give me a jar of smoke, and it's smoky.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, just smoky. I don't even know if it's cigar smoke. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what
It's
you
just,
did that.
but that's absolutely insane.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
really-
insane for that many people to get that many tobaccos right. I don't think if I had 100 people in the U.S., I don't think 75 would be able to select 2 tobaccos. They're going to guess on one of the tobaccos of 2. I guarantee you. It's amazing. It was amazing to me to see that.
Yeah, I've been doing Abe at Smoke In, the Connoisseur Club. I've been doing that for a little over a year now. It's 5 blind cigars. I actually have my tasting sheets. I was smoking one earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
I have never gotten, other than a wrapper. So, I mean, a
You can see
Connecticut
it.
broadleaf is
You
a
see it.
Connecticut
Yeah,
broadleaf.
yeah.
Well, it is, but I've never been able to guess, a tobacco. And this is 5 cigars every month for over a year. And I've never been able to guess anything right other than a wrapper. So that is mind blowing.
That's the
See,
reason I
you're,
want
you're
to go
selling
back.
yourself short, Kevin. You always get the Candela right.
I always get the Candela right, so that I do. Rick, what are your thoughts on Candela? And before you say it's garbage,
No, it's
just
not garbage. It's old. It's old school. It's old school. We, as a manufacturer, we love it. We want to sell because it takes out all the processing. You go from the farm to barn to manufacturer. There's no fermentation. There's no aging. So a manufacturer would love Candela to make a comeback because it just, you could roll a cigar and make a lot of money because you're taking out so much of your process and throwing it away. It's just like a Cameroon to me. It's an old how often you see Cameroon introduced to the market. So because it's old school. It's my grandfather's smoke. It's my father's smoke. I want my smoke. So I have no problem, but I don't think the market is there for us, for West Tampa, to ever make a Candela. Maybe on an Attic series when it's done, maybe, but not. I don't see anybody really successful with a line Candela all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And Kerr and I mean, we're probably hands down the 2 biggest, other than the John Oliva Sr. We're probably the 2 biggest Candela lovers in the industry. I would definitely love to see more Candela, but yeah, you're right. It's 7 days. By the time you put it in the barn, realistically, it's 3 days, and you're pulling it out. So
you can do a collaboration, Kevin, if you have a story with Shamrock Shake.
Right.
Yeah,
with skinny jeans in a bathroom.
Yeah,
in the air.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, Rick's grandfather. He probably rolled more than his share of Candela in his life.
Until the 70s, Candela went away in the 80s and the 90s for sure, but in the 70s, 60s, and the 50s in America, that was what you're smoking. 90% of the cigars were Candela.
The American Market Selection, the AMS cigar.
Yep.
That was it. So we're gonna jump to our final topic for tonight before we let you go. I can't believe it's been over 2 hours already. We got the college football playoffs coming up. Now I don't know the story. I heard everybody has their favorite college football team. Apparently, you've got a half a dozen favorite college football teams from what I hear.
Three.
Okay, I heard 4. I heard 4 to 6. So
4 was back in the day when Miami was winning everything. I did away with Miami in the 2000s because they're horrible. But I was raised loving Michigan, Texas, and LSU. Those were my teams. And so Michigan, I bleed blue. I've never been to that school. I don't think I can spell Michigan, but I love that team. I love that team from
Kerr bleeds maize and gold as well.
Yep.
You know, so he's a Michigan fan.
I'm a Michigan. I've been a long time Michigan fan.
Yeah. Now I happen to be, you know, a fan favorite of the team that beat Miami in 2003, the championship, Ohio State Buckeyes. So I am a diehard Buckeye. So LSU, at least you guys got a Buckeye. You know, Joe Burrow. So you know, but yeah. So who are you rooting for to win it all? Obviously, Michigan.
I would love to play your team again and just after that whooping. Yeah, bro. Bring on. I don't want to play Georgia. I'm scared of TCU right now, but I think we'll handle that, and I think Georgia will handle your high school team or college team.
There are a few. It's few and far between, but there are a few analysts that say that Ohio State is going to trump.
I think so.
Georgia, and then it's going to be Georgia, Michigan in the in the finals, which would be an absolute, amazing.
100%. I think Georgia has some weaknesses, and I think Ohio State is a solid team. And I think if they come out and they play and can exploit some of those weaknesses, I think
wrong coach. I think they have the wrong coach. I think right now he's playing with his team and he can't handle it because his pass is from Aaron Myers, or was your old coach?
Urban Meyer.
So I think your team is good, but I think your coach is. I don't know. I think Harbaugh is better than Day right now. Head to head.
I do love that because Harbaugh is the prodigal son that returned. I love the story behind Harbaugh. Played at Michigan, and then came back. This is obviously how he'll end his career. He's an older guy, so I love the story. I love I love his story, but I would like to just shut up the people that put those stupid memes on my timeline.
Really? Because I put my money where my mouth is. So I have a fan of Ohio State, a very dear friend. So we I have a chalkboard for bets, and we put down for the game, November, 5,000 pesos. We thought 5,000 pesos about $35.
Yeah,
the pesos doing better than we know. Because it's now 5,000 pesos is about $3,500. Like, the fuck?
Oh wow!
So right now, if we do meet again, we just double it to 10,000 pesos. 10,000.
Wow! I am going to reach out to Tom Lazuka, and I am going to place a bet on his shoes. He's got my the gold Miami Michigan shoes. So I want to place a bet. If they lose, if we meet and they lose, I want his shoes so I can burn Tom Lazuka's shoes on.
I think there's a good shot of them meeting. I really do. Yeah. I think Ohio State's got a shot of beating Georgia.
So I don't know. I said, so we'll find any given Saturday is what they say. So.
And we're not going to talk about the Bucs. Thank you so much. They suck. Brady, go away. Thank you so much for your Super Bowl. Go away. Just go away. You're done.
Yeah, I think do you both care, Rick? You think he retires or does he go to the?
No,
Dolphins?
he's going to. He wants to go to San Francisco. I think it's a great fit for him. They're not really sold on Jimmy G. Is gone. I would love to give Jimmy G here, but I don't think they're sold on Trent Lace, or what is his name? The quarterback that they want to start. But if he goes there for 1 year, home base, 5 miles away from growing up from the stadium, I think that is where he wants to go. But if he doesn't go there, I think he's going to be forced to. He's not going to be a Buck next year. I know that for sure.
No. He's definitely not going to be a Buccaneer next year for sure. And if it wasn't for the whole controversy with Miami and their big lawsuit and everything else, I think he would have been at Miami this year. The Dolphins. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
He'll be holding up somewhere.
He'll end up somewhere. He's got another. He's got another.
He's not
year.
going to end up in anywhere that is just starting a team. So he's not going to end up in Detroit and all that.
No,
he's going to go either to, because if you look around, there's only one team that needs a quarterback. They think they need a quarterback and ready for the Super Bowl is the Niners. Because the other team is ready for the Super Bowl without a quarterback. So, no, he's going to go there or retire. Because the divorce, his wife took 50% of our offense with her.
So, perfect. Kerr, any final thoughts, questions for Ricky tonight before we let him go?
That was the fastest 2 hours and 10 minutes.
I know.
Thank you, Rick. That was a fantastic interview.
Oh, bro,
thank you
so much. And I had a great time. And please have me back on. And we have something to talk about in February and March for the new line, the Attention. So have me back. I have a lot of stories to share. And we really get into tobacco and the knowledge and sharing the knowledge with you guys. And so anytime you want to do another show, reach out and I'll say yes. And I'll definitely contact Shahan for you, for sure.
Oh, thank you very much. And Sarah, I know you're watching tonight, so definitely put that in your books when you guys are getting ready to release some more cigars. Definitely reach out to me if I don't reach out to you ahead of time, and we'll get you guys back on the show. And then talk about the new releases, and it'll be absolutely fantastic. So, Rick, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We appreciate it, man.
Happy holidays for everybody, and Merry Christmas for everybody else. But have a great holiday season. Be safe, be loving, and I'll see you guys soon.
We'll see you soon. Thank you.
You and yours.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so everybody start typing in the word cigar. We have a couple of giveaways tonight, 2 giveaways. So while you're typing in the word cigar, we're going to hear a word from our sponsor, Corona Cigar. I was just telling Jessica, I think I'm going to send that little clip to Jeremy McDonald over at Wildfire. I'm like, you think you've got a shit story? Here, we've got the epic shit story for you.
Oh my god!
Now
White
I know
skinny jeans. God.
Yeah. Now I know Christopher Walmart had mentioned earlier about wanting a CAO concert box
I dinged him. I pinged him and told him to get in touch with you.
Yeah, because we've got 2. So I know
I guess I'll part with mine.
I know, Christopher's a great supporter of the show. So we'll definitely
I was gonna say something and then I was like, I'm not putting that in the comments.
Yeah.
That's why I pinged him privately. I was like, I'm not gonna say anything here and get
so Chris,
Kev. I don't know how far you're into that second sangria.
That's it. So Chris Chris will definitely get you that empty box out. So, all right, it's time for the Tapping Ash and Taking Names giveaway presented by Amendola Family Cigars. I love, speaking of Amendola, I loved how he was talking about the Italians, and then Jeffrey Amendola's listening in, and I will not work for Italians or work with Italians, them dirty, stinky people. I didn't, so I'm paraphrasing. That's why.
Don't
that
did not come out of
that's why I get as much shit as I do.
Yes.
I sent Jeff a message too. I was laughing my ass off.
So the people that cannot win tonight: JJ Jambalaya, John Caro, Frank F, Danny Habetten. So we have a couple of prize packs from a Corona Cigar. And I haven't even done the unboxing video for this yet. So you may get these before the video is even out. So we've got the December 2022 Premium Cigar of the Month Club shipment. They got LFD, JDN, Davidoff, EP Carrillo, and a Tatuaje in this package. In the next one, we've got the Corona regular cigar of the month club shipment that will be given away. At least I haven't even looked inside here yet, so I don't know what's in here. We got the Corona Nicaraguan 25th anniversary, the Nub Connecticut, the Punch Rare Corojo, H. Upman Herman's batch, great cigar, Villiger Villa Dominicana, and a St. Louis Ray Broadleaf. Whoever I pick first, when you email me, kevin@cigarprop.com, you'll have your choice of whether you want the 5 cigars in the premium or the 6 cigars in the regular cigar of the month club. So let me share my screen here.
What a great story! God, my
What-
the whole thing. I mean, his history and the whole Flathead story. I think was just.
I know.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you a story about that Flathead box real quick here. As soon as I start collecting the comments here. Let's see. So we've got. So Randy Keller, Kevin at CigarProp.com. You'll get your choice of the premium cigar of the month club or the standard, and we're going to draw one more time. Steve Toth. So Steve Toth, Kevin at CigarProp.com.
I like how you think I have a photographic memory sometimes.
Steve.
I know, but I go to write stuff down and then it's like I look up and it's gone.
Steve Race Car Man Toth. So yeah, I remember.
Gotta keep up.
I remember Rick telling me the story about just producing that box. They had this this CNC machine mill in down in Nicaragua. They're producing the box, and literally like days before PCA, I think IPCPR back then, they're trying to get these boxes produced just to show them off at the convention, and like literally last minute because the machine crashed, they had to find parts or something, and they got like one or a couple boxes produced just in time to show off at the event. It literally made it down to the deadline.
Yeah, I'm sure you're not exactly calling your warranty and getting the repairman out quickly to get that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but just a we could have a whole nother show of just his stories. Just being at General STG for 27 years, and his first cigar was when he got hired as a rep.
Wow. That's hilarious.
Just blows my mind.
What a great way to end 2022. I mean, really,
absolutely a great way. And we'll definitely have him back on the show. And like I said, this will be our last show for a month. We're going to take a month off for winter break. Get retooled. We'll definitely have some new guests. I definitely want to reach out to some old guests as well and find out what they're doing. Because we've only had maybe like 3 or 4 guests that have made a second. Some have made a third and fourth appearance over the last 3 years. So I kind of want to go back and revisit some of our older guests and find out what they're doing and what they're up to now. As in, when I say now, as in 2023. So it's going to be an exciting year. I think we've got some new sponsors coming on. I think it's going to be super exciting.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have the new lounge open up for the start of 2023, but sometime in the first quarter, we will definitely be broadcasting from the new Drew Estate Experience Acid Lounge. So, in the show notes down below, West Tampa Tobacco. Jessica had the ticker going throughout the show. All of our partners, thank you. Remember, Corona Cigar Prop 10 get you 10% off. That is a permanent discount code now, so definitely use that. Also in the show notes are all of our social media links for Cigar Prop producer Jessica, Kerr Viajante of Stogie Road Cigars. Once again, we want to thank all of our partners for supporting us this year. We definitely could not have made this happen without you. So thank you to JC Newman Cigars, CigarMedics, Amendola Cigars. We are the muscle. Excelsior Tobacco, makers of the Doña Lydia, GTO Cigars. Those who know smoke GTO, Corona Cigar, and of course Drew Estate and Experience Acid. We'll start off, Jessica. Jessica, would you like to leave all of our viewers with a winter message for tonight?
A winter message?
I don't know. We're not going to hear from us for a month. So say something insightful, and
I'll see you next year.
See you next year. Kerr, you do not have big shoes to fill with following that.
How do I follow that?
Listen, I am ready for 2020 to be. I'm all ready for the new year. Like this, to me, this is already over. Like 2022 can suck it. A lot of bad shit happened in 2022, especially to me. So
there, see, 2022 can suck it. That's way better than see you next year, Jess.
Yeah, I'll see you all next year. Be safe, be happy, and have a great holiday.
Way to pull it out of her, Kev. Good job. Good job, Kevin. You pulled it out of her.
That's it. Kerr, leave everybody with some final thoughts.
Whatever you celebrate this time of the year, just make sure that you spend it with family, you be safe, and enjoy lots of cigars. It's a great time to smoke a cigar with family. I'm going to be visiting my dad this week and visiting Pennsylvania over leaving Wednesday this weekend. Hopefully I'll get a chance to catch up with Chris Walmer and enjoy a cigar with him. But just enjoy your time with your family and smoke cigars.
I just want to point out
you don't get a second chance, Jess.
I know that Ron had an epic picture from Universal that I don't know why we didn't think of taking
the cigar with the dragon. Yes, Ron, kudos for that picture.
Winner, he totally wins best picture of the year.
So right on. All right, we'll see everybody next year.